in Spain, because the league is weaker, the players don't tend to play as much as they do, and they can rest them the week before, for a full week before a game and what have you. In the Premier League, you don't have that luxury. In Germany, you have the midwinter break where they have that, and they're off for about a month. So whether that helps or not, I don't know. But again, they just those teams just seem to be ready when it comes to the business end of the competitions like the Champions League and Europa League and what have you.
And we touched on it before, but I think there's way too many games in Europe. There's way too many non-games in European competition.
Well, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. And I have no sympathy for the big clubs. Can I do this for 1 second? Just leave it for 1 second.
Yeah. In SportsView program, tell all your friends about us. Press the red button on the right-hand side to subscribe to our channel, and we very much appreciate it. On tonight's show, as you can see, we'll be discussing soccer as we set it off with. We'll be covering rugby, golf, tennis, and snooker. The World Championship snooker began this weekend. So, Joe, we're saying there's too many games in Europe.
Well, since it went to the
league,
the league format, now at the expense of everything else, they made a decision. The Premier League clubs, this is now without any input from the lower clubs in the English league, that they've done away with replays
in the FA Cup
from now on. And this is because they've got all these, they're afraid of these games. So you take it that every Champions League qualification now is, I think, is 6 games. There are 4 teams in each group, I think. And so you have 6 games that have been added to the schedule for those. I read an article on in the paper last week that it said that a reporter in this article said that Rodri needed a rest, and Guardiola was at it again on Saturday after the semi-final of the cup, saying that his players are exhausted and they're tired. Now, Rodri needed a rest because he played 3,497 minutes by mid-April. So I did some
the sums.
Yeah, I did some stuff on that. So here's what I came up with, right? And this is just from my time playing. So from 76, 77 to 82, 83, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 seasons in a row, right? At Grimsby Town, and I cut it off at the 13th of April, the date, the same date that they were talking about that.
Yeah.
So, and we still had many more games to go after the 13th of April. So by the time in 76, 77, by April 13th, we had played 44 games, right? Which is 3,960 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? In 77, 78, we played 49 games by mid-April, 4,110 minutes. 78, 79, we played 44 games, which was nearly 4,000 minutes. 79, 80, we played 56 games by mid-April, and we still had another half dozen or so games to go. And that was 5,040 minutes.
And I'll tell you,
we had one sub that we could use.
Yeah, and Joe,
the fields that we played on.
You weren't playing on top of manicured state-of-the-art grounds. You know, these grounds, you'd need working boots to walk around some of them.
Right. And, you know, in that time, in that 8 seasons, we never played. We played less than 4,000 minutes by mid-April twice. The other 5, we were over 4,000 minutes. And this is not on a carpet. This is not with 5 subs being allowed and that happening and what have you. So when they talk about that, I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for them.
No,
You know?
absolutely not. I mean, as we said, just to recap, we have PSV, Dortmund, and Bayern Munich and Real Madrid into the European Champions League semi-finals, and Atalanta, Marseille, Roma, and Bayer Leverkusen. They're all into the last 4 of the Europa League. You know, so you have Leverkusen, who are going for. They have won the cup and the league for the first time in Germany, and they're going for the Europa League now as well. The final of that Europa League will be held in Dublin in Lansdowne Road. So Atalanta, Marseille, Roma, or Leverkusen. They'll be all attractive teams to look at, the 4 of them, you know.
Oh yeah.
And in the conference, then that's the 3rd European competition they run. Fiorentina, Lille, Olympiacos, and Bruges. They are into the last 4 of the Europa Conference, you know. So
it's good to see Bruges back again. Because, I mean, at one point in time, when the European Cup was the European Cup, Bruges were in the final of the European Cup.
Well,
they lost to Liverpool 1-0 at Wembley, and they were always a contestant back then. So. So it's good to see that again. Some of the old names popping up.
Now, in the Premiership over the weekend, obviously we had Man City and Man United qualified for the FA Cup final. Man City had their expected win, and Man United. I saw most of that match yesterday. Man United and Coventry met yesterday in the semi-final, and Man United won after extra time in a penalty shootout. But Joe, again, our friend VAR ruled out a goal, which the United fans are watching me were certain that it was a goal, you know. But I
saw the photograph of it. I watched the game, but then I saw the photograph of it, and how you can tell that player is offside is beyond me. I mean, it is absolutely beyond me.
It is.
I could not tell from looking at it. So I don't know how VAR could do it. So yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's just a shame, really, because I see again, Mark Plattenberg comes out and he's now up in arms against his old buddies at PGMOL about the horrible decisions that were made in the Forest Everton game at the weekend, and that Forest lost 2-0, and he's up in arms again about it. So I don't know. It's getting to be ridiculous.
I think we both agree that the only time, personally speaking, that I'd use VAR is to decide a penalty.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I really don't disagree with you.
In a crowded box with 20 players inside for a corner kick, you will miss something, you know. So.
Oh yeah, but again, we talked about this. We've talked about it, and we can continue talking about it till the cows come home. But you're taking away the spontaneity of the game.
You are, yeah.
By second guessing everything that's going on. Oh, we have to have a look at this. We have to have a look at that. The person that's looking at it with the naked eye, because that's what the people in the crowd see, right? And it's all part of the game. It's all part of the game experience. So it should be down to the referee and his assistants.
And as we said before, the other league, the Championship, League 1 and League 2, don't have VAR.
And they survive very well.
And they're playing very well now. Over the weekend in the Premiership, you had wins for Brentford, Burnley, Arsenal, Everton, Villa, Palace, and Liverpool. Liverpool are up there again. They won, but I think Luton Town are gone. You know,
Well, they still have a chance because they have a game in hand on Forest.
yeah.
So
I think that Sheffield United, Burnley, and Luton are looking odds on now to go down. You know.
well, I think I wouldn't say Forest are out. I think Everton with that win yesterday pushed themselves out of it, and they may even get an extra point or a couple of points back with
I
the
think they're
the
appealing. They're appealing that
yeah.
it looks like they could get three points back. You
But
know.
I think it's between Forest and Luton.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very bad result for Luton.
Oh God, I expected better, but Leicester City won in the championship. They beat West Brom 2-1, and
Yeah,
that was a good win for Leicester City, I must say.
it was a good win. It was a good game. West Brom had some great chances.
West Brom are a good handy team, well
Yeah,
organised, and
yeah.
in the
Leicester had some good chances. Jamie Vardy missed the penalty, hit the post with it.
it is.
But there's a big game being played today. Uh, Middlesbrough versus Leeds, and
Is it
I
on
think
tonight?
yeah, they need to win that one. Leeds need to win that one to get into
Well,
the. So Leicester, if they win one more game, are promoted back to the Premiership with all that brings to them.
now in the Premiership at the moment, we have Arsenal on 74 points, Liverpool on 74, Man City on 73, Villa on 66, Spurs on 60, and Newcastle and Man United on 50. So now Man City have a game less played in the top two, you know?
Yeah.
And Villa have two more games played than Man City and one more than the others. So there you go. In the Championship, Leicester City are on 91, Ipswich are on 89, Leeds 87, Southampton 84, West Brom 72, Norwich 72, and Hull City 66 and they've all have 43 games played, except West Brom, Norwich, and Hull have 44 played. So there you go. There's it's looking like Leicester and maybe Leeds automatic.
It's going to be interesting, that one. Like I say, Leeds have a big game today at Middlesbrough, so that'll give us a bit of an idea. Leicester now need one more win to guarantee promotion. If they win one, they can't be caught.
Well, Joe, at the moment, after 13 minutes, Middlesbrough are 1-0 up.
Oh wow!
They're playing at home, obviously. Middlesbrough they're 1-0 up. And Jones has scored after 7 minutes. After 18 minutes gone, and they're just leveled as we came on here. Leeds have equalised. As I just
Well, there you go.
Somerville, a penalty. So it's 1-1.
There you go.
I'll tell you anyway. So
yeah,
it's live on SportsView, but I mean, yeah, it's coming to the end of the football season.
Yeah, Portsmouth promoted back to the Championship.
They are.
Yeah.
Pompey and Portsmouth. I always like watching Portsmouth for some reason. They were a team I liked, another team down by the South Coast,
When you play there and they start the Pompey chimes,
you
play up Pompey play up. It was a great ground to play at.
Yeah,
And they had good travelling support as
and of
well.
course, we mentioned last week that Wrexham were going up to Division 2, Division 1.
Yeah.
There'll be another roller coaster year now there with a lot of. I suppose that it'll probably attract more investment into the club, and it's great for the area as well that they're situated in. It's great for the town as well.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of spin-off for a successful soccer team in the locality, so we mustn't forget that either. Now turning briefly to rugby, and the Women's Six Nations continues apace. It'll be concluding, I think, next weekend. But this weekend, Ireland travelled over to England and they were dispatched by 88 points to 10. Italy 10, Scotland 17, and Wales are beaten 40-0 by France. So the showdown is between France and England next weekend. As we said at the start of the Women's Six Nations, France and England are the two what we call professional teams in the competition, and it shows as well. So you know, I don't know what to say. I didn't see. I saw some of the highlights of the England match, but it was over after 15, 20 minutes. You know.
Yeah.
Now in the United Rugby Championship, Leinster and Munster were over in South Africa. Leinster were beaten 44-12 by the Lions, and Conor Murray got a last gasp winning try for Munster. They won 27-22.
Oh,
And
good.
yeah, over in the sunshine of South Africa, and Connacht to beat Zebra 54-16, and also beat Cardiff 19-17. So they're all reasonably well in the rugby nations. I think there's some yeah. Conor Murray has got a year. I think he's got a year extended his career or contract by a year. I think he's been underrated a lot in one way, not because he scored the winning try, but he's been a very consistent performer. You know,
Oh
Conor
yeah, yeah. He has been over time. Yeah.
he's been a fantastic player. You know, and he will be missed when he decides to lace up his boots and say goodbye. The golf, well, Joe. The hurling, I haven't gone to this. The hurling championship started this weekend in earnest here in Munster. Limerick went up to Ennis, my adopted county of Clare, and they were in serious trouble for long periods of the match. At one stage, Clare were winning by 9 points against
Oh
Limerick.
wow.
Limerick scored 3 goals in 1 point in about 8 minutes to win the game.
Wow.
They won the game by 3 points. It was it was packed, jam-packed, the ground. You couldn't take a breath there.
Was it? Is it Cusick Park?
Music Park, the capacity was 18,000, but they allowed 20,200 in, you know,
Wow.
and of course they were all told, so it was packed. Cork, my own county, went down to Waterford and were duly beaten by
Oh, wow.
a Waterford team that weren't given much of a chance, but
Right.
they beat them by 225 to 125. But it's a huge setback for Cork. I'm not saying that because I'm from Cork, because they were expected to win that, and they're under pressure now. It's a round robin system. They all play each other, and the top 3 go forward. So when you lose your first match, you're on the back foot.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, like you said, Waterford wasn't expected to do much.
No, Davy Fitzgerald worked the oracle again.
Yeah, Davy's working his magic again.
Worked the oracle again, and they were hopping off the ground. And fair play to them, they deservedly won the match by a lot more than they won it by. You know, they played a fantastic game. I must give them credit for that. Now both Clare and Cork lost, and they're meeting now next Sunday down in Cork. Those two
Oh
teams.
wow.
So that will be some humdinger, and Limerick will be inviting Tipperary to Limerick for a game as well. So
Oh,
it was all very good, you know, all
good.
fantastic, you know. So and all the grounds are packed because of the weather, you know.
Yeah.
The place was packed. But in the golf, Scotty Scheffler, the Masters champion, won the RBC Heritage in the golf at -20. He's won it again. He's a machine. But the one I was looking at, the first ladies golfing major was on the Chevron Championship, and guess who won it? Nelly Corda.
Oh,
Her,
fair.
her fifth tournament in a row.
Wow.
She's only the third lady golfer to do that after the wonderful Nancy Lopez, who was
I was
behind
gonna say,
who was behind the mic in on the Golf Channel, and Annika Sandstrom. They were doing before, so she did that, and fair play to her. My huh?
she's in good company there.
Oh, she is. I mean, Nancy Lopez was some character. I tell you, she's still very energetic. Why shouldn't she be? I think she's 76 now or something like that, but she's a fantastic speaker, you know, and a trailblazer. And so there we go. That was the golf. In tennis, then we had the Barcelona Open, which is on red clay, which is one of the forerunners of the first men's Grand Slam of the year in Roland Garros in France. It's where Nadal made his comeback. He won his first round match, but he was beaten in the second round a couple of days ago. And both Tsitsipas and Casper Ruud, who's good on clay, he beat Tsitsipas in that tournament. So it's important for their run up, you know, in Barcelona. for the major in France later on in the year. And the World Snooker Championships began. Luca Bechel lost in the first round, the holder, to Dave Gilbert. He was dispatched on Saturday by
Wow.
10-9. So Dave Gilbert is through to the next round. And before we just came on air, Mark Selby is gone. He was beaten as well. So they're two big names that are gone out of it, you know. And Ronnie O'Sullivan.
That's the beauty of a knockout thing, though. You know, that's what I love about it. You know,
That's what I loved about the European Cup in the old days, as we were talking.
And that's why everyone loves the FA Cup, the FAI Cup.
Yeah, that's
you know,
right.
You get your chance at it, and you know, one of you is going no matter what happens. So
even a team like Limerick City could be drawn against AC Milan.
Yes.
Or Real Madrid.
I mean, you're taking all when you do away with stuff like that, and you're taking away all the romanticism from the games, and that's what keeps everybody interested in it. I mean, we're looking at mundane things. What have we seen for the last 3 years? Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal contesting the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
3 years, Liverpool and Man City probably the last 5 or 6. So it just becomes boring after a while.
I mean, the only two other teams I can remember what we call lesser teams winning the Premiership was Leicester City and Blackburn Rovers in 1995.
Right. And of course, then you go back all the way to Forest when they won it with Cloughie, you know, after coming up from the second division. Then, of course, you had Derby County.
That's right.
With Cloughie as well. So, you know, it's just, it was so interesting there for a while because you had teams coming out of nowhere that were winning, that were capable of winning the first division back in the day, and it you know it kind of took away a little bit.
I mean, when Cork Hibernians drew Borussia Mönchengladbach that time in the European Cup, I mean the receipts for that to the club, the gate was packed, the ground was packed.
Right, I remember it, yeah.
And the television money as well. I mean, that paid the players' wages for 3 years.
Yeah, it was a huge thing. And the person I was trying to think of when we spoke about Hibs playing Mönchengladbach the last time was Jupp Heynckes. He played up front for Mönchengladbach, and I think he scored 1 or 2 goals in that game. But yeah, I mean, but the magic of having those people, you know, playing in your own backyard was, I mean, it was fantastic. It just lit up the whole city.
I don't know were you ever in St. Mel's Park in Athlone Town?
No, they weren't in the league when I was around.
The year they drew AC Milan.
Yeah.
AC Milan in their pomp, you know, you had household names on the team that time.
Oh, so was that the time of Baresi and
and Maldini, and all them, Paolo Maldini.
Yeah, and Frank Rijkaard.
Oh man, they had anyway. They came. Apparently, I wasn't there, but there's loads of stories. St. Mel's Park was in a bog. It's a bog, really. It's a marshy area beside the River Shannon. And they only had cold showers, and they only had 1 or 2 tiles. But the boys arrived in this. They flew into Dublin and got this fabulous coach down to Athlone for the match. And when they came in and got off the coach, the players were absolutely dumbfounded. The AC Milan players. I think there was someone local was asked to put down pallets so they could be dry walking into the dressing room on the soggy ground. And that was their beginning of the match, you know. And the pitch itself was appalling. It was red, raw muck, pure muck. But they were lucky to get a draw that night. I mean, at AC Milan, I'm saying, you know. It was 0-0. But the boys from Athlone were used to playing in that week in, week out, you know. It didn't knock a feather off them. Carol Davenport, a great character in Irish soccer, played with Cork Celtic, but he was with Athlone Town at the time. They went over to Milan for the return leg, and it was such a huge occasion because it was 0-0 for the first leg, which was a massive, massive result for an Irish League of Ireland team.
Yes.
The RT took the match live, not on television, but on the radio. Philip Green, Phil Green.
Right.
Philip
Oh, yeah, Phil Green. Yeah.
And of course, when the Athlone Town crowd got over to AC Milan, I mean, the pitch themselves was better than their own living room. They just could not. I mean, it was so fast, the ball. Everything was 100 times faster than Athlone. But they held. Well, I remember Philip Green's commentary because the whole country was listening to it. I mean, you can imagine that time. If Athlone scored first, the away goal was two goals.
Right.
So if Athlone scored first, it meant that they'd have to score twice. Anyway, it was 0-0 at half time, and we were ecstatic here on this side. It was just you could feel the thing in the radio, and you could feel the tension in the radio from the ground from Milan. We can't lose this match. But I mean, Athlone Town players obviously wouldn't have the same fitness as AC Milan, so the fitness in the end killed them. I think it was 3 or 4-0 in the end, to AC Milan. But for a game and a half, I mean, we were at the summit. Athlone Town was at the summit. But those things won't happen again, Joe.
No, they won't unless they're not going to change the format because there's too much money in it now for everybody.
Money.
And that's the killer of everything. It's sad to say, but unfortunately it's true. So.
And how well how well equipped do you think that how well equipped is Leicester City if they do come up? But they will come up to the Premiership.
To be honest, I think it's going to be a big struggle for them. I've watched them, and they tried to play like Man City do, but they're 7 or 8 times slower at doing it than Man City are, and they give away too many chances at the back.
Yeah.
They did it again in Saturday's match against West Brom, and they live very, very dangerously. And in the Premier League, you're not going to get away with that. You're going to be punished with that on a regular basis. And they don't have the money to buy players because, and the other thing they're facing is they may have a huge points deduction before they even start.
Jeez.
Because of football fair play and what have you. So I don't want to rain on our parade because I think it's great that we have the opportunity to go back up, but it's an opportunity that beware of what you ask for because you mightn't like it.
Well, Joe, as we're speaking, Leeds are going to hit 2-1.
There you go.
And we have the Milan derby. As we're talking about Milan, I didn't know the Milan derby is on tonight. AC Milan and Inter Milan.
I watched the class. Did you watch the Classico over the weekend?
No, I didn't see it.
It was in Barcelona.
Jude winner, didn't they?
Yeah, they scored the winner in the last minute.
Yeah.
Last kick of the game.
Yeah.
So, but it was a great game. I mean, it was a terrific game.
Inter Milan are going to head against AC Milan. And if Inter Milan win tonight, they'll win the league, I think, yeah.
Oh, wow.
They win the La Liga, so I think that's I know who's after scoring for them here now. This is all great, lads. Acerbi is his name.
Okay.
Acerbi won. Anyway, that's Milan. I said Leeds are heading to the. Now, we'd assume they'll win tonight, so they'll be on 90 points. Then they'll be right behind Leicester,
Right,
and a point ahead of Ipswich. Anyway, I think it'll be decided over the weekend, Joe,
Yeah.
by the
Well,
look of things.
Leicester play tomorrow, don't they?
Let me see now. Tuesday.
Don't they?
Leicester playing Southampton. That'll be a tough match.
Yeah. Is it Southampton they have?
They have Southampton at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, and Arsenal playing Chelsea in the Premier League.
Wow. That's going to be. There's some great games coming up.
Well, Wednesday night we have Wolves and Bournemouth, Crystal Palace and Newcastle, Everton and Liverpool, Man United and Sheffield United. Well, Lowry, that won't be much of a match. Coventry and Hull in general. But Thursday night then you have Brighton and Man City down in Brighton. And that's it. Friday.
That Coventry and Hull
Oh,
match.
Leeds are playing again Friday night.
Yeah.
They're playing QPR.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. And
Yeah. So that Coventry and Hull match is going to be an interesting match because Coventry have game. Don't Coventry have a game in hand?
They do.
The ones above them. So
Ipswich are away to Hull on Saturday.
that's going to be a tough game for them.
It is. Norwich are at home to Swansea. So, God, there'll be some excitement. There'll be some excitement.
Where's the Leicester Southampton match? Is it at Southampton?
No, Leicester. They're at home.
They're at home.
Yeah, Leicester at home. Do you know what we forgot, Joe? And it almost slipped my mind today when I was this morning. I was up too early. You see, I had too much time. If I'm rushing, I'll get things done. Quicker. Because Bonnie Rig Rose, our team from SportsView. Bonnie Rig Rose were away to East Fife over the weekend, and they won 4-1. So
good for them. Good for them.
Since we took them over, they've won 3 in a row.
Well, it's your management style, putting your arm around their shoulder,
Absence. That's
the way. Pat in the back.
That's the way to manage a team. Remotely managed.
Did you see the Celtic and Aberdeen semi-final at the weekend?
It was 3-3, was it?
3-3, yeah.
3-3.
Aberdeen equalised in the 90th minute, and it went to shootout in the finish. I think they equalised at 2-2 in the 90th minute, and then Celtic went up in extra time, and then Aberdeen equalised. So tell me this much, right? And I don't know what other people think about this. You got 10 field players on your team, right? All professional soccer players.
Yeah.
And it goes to shootout. And one of the 5 top penalty takers is the goalkeeper.
Well, first of all, the goalkeeper would be used to stopping them, and he'd be used to the different techniques the players taking them. He'd have seen a lot more penalty takers than the normal run in the mill,
Right.
I don't know, but it wouldn't be certainly I wouldn't have my goalkeeper take a penalty anyway.
I wouldn't be either. I mean, when I looked at what some of the other penalties, because
didn't Joe Hart save one?
Yeah, Joe Hart took a penalty, and he took a penalty for the win, and he missed it. So then they had to go to sudden death, and a couple of Celtic guys that came up. It was just interesting for me to see that. I mean, it would have been storybook stuff if he'd scored, because he's retiring this year.
Who, Joe Hart?
Yeah, apparently he's 37. He's retiring.
Is he?
Said, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was one of the good goalkeepers myself. I thought he was added a lot by England, but that's just my personal opinion.
When a guy comes in and doesn't want you because you don't have the skill set to that they need, but the same thing happened to Ramsdale at Arsenal, with Arteta. Ramsdale is not exactly the best guy playing out the back. And Raya sometimes has his issues as well. So it's just it's one of those things that you can be a great shot stopper, but now if you're not very good with your feet, then you're not considered to be one of top level goalkeepers.
Talking about goalkeepers getting caught, in the Gaelic football was on over the weekend as well, and Jim McGuinness, who managed Donegal, the last time he managed him, he won the All Ireland. He's back down to Hellam. One of the favourites for the All Ireland this year is Derry, and they met Donegal over the weekend. Jim McGuinness prevailed and turned them over and scored 3. He noticed that the Derry goalkeeper was coming up as an extra attacker with the team when they were shoving up. He got 3 goals over that. They lobbed the ball over the goalkeeper's head, and he had 2 runners running onto it, and they got 2 goals and no goalkeeper in the goal.
Wow!
The third one, they just lobbed him, and he couldn't get back to it. He touched it all right, so they won the match.
Wow, that's
there you go. That's Jim.
Thank you, rethink your tactics. So is that Derry out then now?
No, that was the
Ulster Championships.
In the quarter semi-final. There's also a draw then. Like Cork were beaten by Kerry in the football down here in Munster over the weekend, and Kerry will play Clare footballers who beat Waterford on the other side of the draw, which is an open draw. So Kerry and Clare will meet in the Munster football final. But because Cork got to the semi-final in their provincial championship, they'll go into the hat for an open draw for a preliminary round in the Sam Maguire Cup.
Okay.
Yeah. And the same with Derry. So, but if you're beaten in the first round in the football championship in either province, there's the secondary competition which began 2 years ago called the Talton Cup, and you're into that, and it has been very successful in the last 2 years. Anyway, it's given teams a reason to stay interested, stay training. That there's silverware. That if you play one match and you have to wait till next year again, that gap was a bit. There was a lot of players being lost over that, so from the Leicester counties. But Limerick themselves are going for a unique record, 5 in a row. Now, I didn't look it up. I don't think it was ever done. I have a feeling in the back of my head that Wexford did it back in 1914, but I forgot to look it up, lads, that people are looking in. So I cannot definitively say on the programme that Wexford did it until I look it up.
I read some. When I was reading the Independent, and they were talking about it. They were saying that no one's ever won 5 in a row. So, and maybe they're talking about in the present format. I mean, I don't know what it was like back in the early 1900s.
Well, Cork did it in 41, 42, 43, and 44.
Right, they won 4 in a row, right?
In hurling, and they won the football in 45. And they won the hurling again in 46. So Jack Lynch was on both teams. He was the football. He won 6 All Irelands in a row. Himself as a player.
Right.
I don't think that'll happen again with the way it is going. That won't happen again. But it's a testament of Limerick, of the talent they have, that they're still as enthusiastic and as good as ever. I know it's only one match, but I mean the resilience of the team and the self-belief they have will go a long way as in a team, And I think that, they are favourites to win. Kilkenny are second favourites, and Tipperary are third favourites to win the. Galway are third favourites to win the.
Galway being there, but Galway have got to get past Kilkenny, though, don't they? I mean, that's their bugbear all the time, isn't it?
It is, and they did it a few times against the odds, and so you don't know. You don't know what these tournament games, They turned Kilkenny over 2 years ago in Galway, and Kilkenny have to go to Galway for their next game now in the championship. So, I mean, you'll have that spice, of course, with Henry Shefflin as the manager of Galway. Right. You have that bit of bite there, And,
since Cody has gone, that kind of has taken that away a little bit.
It has, yeah, it has. There was terrible needle there when he was around. Terrible, but he's gone.
Is it, it's
Huh?
funny, Cody, as successful as he was, what have you, and it's the same thing with Ferguson, Steve Bruce was talking about how he left United and he left on bad terms, and he was talking about, Sir Alex Ferguson and what have you, and, how he's got brilliant man management skills and this and that and the other. And he says, don't let that fool you. He said, because he's as ruthless as they come. And Cody was the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have, Ferguson said that you don't become friendly with your players. He said, because one day you're going to have to let them go. And it's so much more difficult if you're friendly with them.
You might get the belt of a football boot in the dressing room.
Well, and that's it. Yeah.
But before I forget it, Pike Rovers youths team reached the final of the All-Ireland. They travelled to Dublin over the weekend. A fantastic milestone for the club in that they reached the final. And they played probably one of the all-time greats of schoolboys football, St. Kevin's boys,
Yeah, yeah.
And
Pike Rovers were the first minor team, youth team, to bring an FAI trophy to Limerick.
Oh my God.
Yes, they did. And my uncle Anthony was on that team.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So there was, so I think Eamon O'Connor was on that team. Remember Eamon O'Connor was a cameraman for RTE.
He was.
Goalkeeper on that team. Anthony was on that team. Oh God, I'm trying to think. Donald O'Donovan, Gunnar Donovan's father. Gunnar had played hooker for Munster.
Oh yes.
His father was on that team. Gosh, I'm trying to think of some of the other lads.
Yeah.
Were on that team. But yeah, they were the first ones.
And I think that I know it's no consolation you lost 3-0, but I think it was an incredible achievement.
Well, it's a huge achievement. But again, I asked the question, and as I'm sitting on looking at it, because I got to thinking, I did an interview last week for the match day program for Leicester City.
Yeah.
And they were doing an interview on when I came there and what have you.
Yeah.
When I played. And we were talking about the Irish schoolboys, and how I played for the Irish schoolboys, and I was the only player outside of Dublin that was picked in the starting team. Mick Earls was a sub on that day.
Would he be anti now to Keith Earls?
No? I don't really know.
No.
But Mick went to Southampton.
All right.
And he ended up making his debut for Southampton at Anfield. And he played with me on the Irish youth team as well. But, I was thinking, why is the FAI Cup final, and especially the youth ones and the junior ones, why are they all played in Dublin?
It's a good question. I mean, it's a nice trip, and as you know, the weekend is when people are all moving around, particularly this week, it's very sunny, and so it was a testament to their resilience, the young lads. But I mean, really, we congratulate them to Pike. And
it was a great achievement. But St. Kevin's
yes, that's all right. Yeah.
St. Kevin's are good enough anyway. But to give them practically a whole game.
Did Liam Brady play with them?
I think a lot of the lads played with him.
Liam Brady played with St. Kevin's boys. Yeah.
John Devine, I think.
And your man, Kevin Moran.
Yeah, I think so. Who else played for him?
Stapleton was no.
I don't know who Frank and David played for.
Paul McGrath was out.
Don O'Riordan played for. For St. Kevin's, and they had a team. He put the team on Facebook one day of a St. Kevin's team that he played on.
Oh yeah.
And 9 or 10 of them went over to England. you know, and three of them were at Derby County with Brian Clough. I think John Devine started there. I'm not
Didn't
sure.
John Devine played with Arsenal as well, didn't
He
he?
did play with Arsenal. He did. So maybe it wasn't John Devine. Maybe it was David Langan. I'm not. I can't think of it now, but I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
they've always had the best of players. It was little bit like Home Farm in the old days.
Yeah, Home Farm. Yeah, Home Farm was.
St. Kevin's kind of took over from them
Yeah.
and started getting all the good players and what have you. So it was.
You see, if all the scouts are coming over to St. Kevin's to see,
Yeah,
tis obvious that if your parents think you have potential, they're going to make sure you're going to play for St. Kevin's,
yeah,
because the chance of you being scouted is high.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing. The only reason I eventually got scouted was by playing in the schoolboy international in Dublin in Dalymount Park.
Yeah.
After that match, we had interest from quite a few clubs, first division clubs at the time. But up till that time, it had only been Leicester City that had been interested in me, and they only heard about me because the chief scout, Leicester City, was staying in a hotel that a Limerick man had been working in as a waiter or whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
And he was watching a match in Cal's Park one day because he was interested in schoolboy football, and he happened to see me play, and he went back and told him about it. He says, "You need to take a look at this young fella," and that's how luck happens for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I might never have had that opportunity if
There you go.
if it hadn't been for that, you know. So, but the point is that there's so many good players all around the country that never get the chance to be seen.
You see that, and I see it myself. I see it in junior soccer a lot. I'm not I'm not a scout or a judge of any good, but you know, when you see a guy with all the skills, you just know. You might be able to explain it, but you know, he's head and shoulders above anything else on the field. You know,
Yeah.
And you can trust him to give him the ball no matter where he is. And you see that in junior soccer around the place. But there have been many, many fine players, who have played junior soccer all their whole life.
And that's very true. Very true. There was a lot of guys. My father was one of them. He had no interest in playing for. He'd been asked a few times to play for Limerick, but had no real interest in playing for Limerick. Whereas Joe Casey on the same Pike team as him, wanted to play League of Ireland and went to the League of Ireland. You know, Eddie O'Donovan played for Limerick, won the Dublin City Cup with them a couple of times, and then went back to playing junior. A lot of lads did that because they like that, better.
I know, it depends on your temperament and kind of a character you are,
Yeah.
And you do feel comfortable in your own club, no matter where you play,
Yeah.
There's a sense of, you're accepted, you don't have to prove anything to your friends on your club,
Yeah.
You're accepted as one of the team, and you do your bit, for each other. But it's good anyway. That was good anyway. But Pike will be back again, no doubt. They'll rise up again, no problem.
Yeah, they will.
To everybody who looks after them in the club, and who looked after them very well over the weekend, and commiserations. But hold your heads up high, lads. You were in exalted company.
Yes, they were. That was the hard part of making it the final. There's only one team wins, and that's unfortunately the way it goes. And,
it is like all those sports,
Yeah.
We'll be looking. Well, we have the Olympics to look forward to this year. This Olympic year in Paris. We have that to look forward to, and I hope to. Well, I hope I will be over there, depending on how things work out. I'll be over in France, and there's three of us going over for a few months, and we might be able to do a sports view from outside the Olympic Stadium.
There you go.
I'll sit up in my high stool with my green, white, and gold hat. Anyway, Joe, well, we've come to the end of another night, lads. Another edition of SportsView. Joe, it is a pleasure to have you along again. And until we meet again, and the best of luck to Leicester. And I think Leeds are still winning. Leeds are 2-1 up as we're going off here. But the best of luck to all the teams. Good sporting for the week, Joe. Good night and take care.
Good night, Pat. See you next week.